He took the blame not in a moment of heroism and not for any noble image. That night, he simply understood how the world worked. In their family, in that house, in that life, if someone had to disappear, it would be him, the oldest, the most stable, the one everyone would say about, he can handle it. When the door closed behind him for the first time, Ethan still believed it was temporary. He sat on the narrow bed, listened to the guard's footsteps in the hallway, and told himself he just had to wait. Waiting had always been his strength. He waited for his father to come home from work. He waited for his mother to stop crying. He waited for his younger brother to grow up. Waiting was how he survived. In the psychiatric hospital, he learned quickly, time didn't move there, it settled. Days piled up on top of each other. Faces blurred, words lost their meaning. Ethan watched the other patients carefully and learned. Not madness, survival. If you were too aware, they broke you. If you were too broken, they forgot you. He chose the middle, at first. He pretended carefully. Then confidently, he knew when to stay silent, when to answer incorrectly, when to stare through people instead of at them. The doctors wrote, chronically ill, no progress expected. It sounded almost like approval. Years passed, and his family lived as if on cracked glass. His parents didn't understand. They kept returning to the same impossible question. How could a simple accident destroy a man so completely? They remembered Ethan as calm, responsible, always thinking ahead. The doctors explained triggers, latent disorders, psychological collapse. His mother listened and nodded, because without those explanations, her heart wouldn't survive. His father listened and stayed silent, because he didn't believe a word. At first, the neighbors expressed sympathy. Then they got used to it. Then they spoke more quietly. Eventually, they stopped mentioning his name at all. Ethan became something uncomfortable, like a stain on the wall no one touched. Daniel lived with the constant feeling that his life belonged to someone else. Every step forward felt stolen. He got married and felt he had no right to happiness. He had children and caught himself thinking that Ethan should have been the one holding them. He lived carefully, correctly, without sharp movements, as if afraid the world would notice the substitution. Sometimes Daniel drove to the hospital, reached the gate, stood there, looked at the concrete walls, and left. He wasn't afraid of seeing his brother sick. He was afraid of seeing that Ethan understood everything. Inside the hospital, Ethan began to think too much. That was his greatest mistake. His mind returned to that night again and again. The conversation, the voices, the exact moment everything changed. He searched for an alternative path where none existed. Over time, doubt crept in. What if I went too far? What if he had pretended for so long that it became real? Sometimes he forgot words. Sometimes he lost thoughts halfway through. What frightened him wasn't the hospital anymore. It was himself. He tried to explain, carefully, slowly. He told doctors that his condition was the result of long-term pressure, that he wasn't dangerous, that he had exaggerated symptoms. They documented it as delusion, as rationalization. After that, the medication increased. He became slower, quieter, easier. He wrote letters to his parents, clear, painfully clear. His mother cried when she read them. His father said, "That's the illness speaking," and placed the letters in a drawer that was never opened again. Years turned into decades. When his parents were finally allowed to visit, they traveled without hope. Hope had died earlier. They came simply because they had to. Ethan was in a wheelchair. His body no longer supported him. His eyes looked, but didn't see. He was alive in the way forgotten objects are alive, still there, but no longer needed. His mother held his hand and repeated his name, as if trying to pull him back letter by letter. His father stood beside her and, for the first time in his life, didn't know what to do. That was when he noticed the documents. Old files, carelessly filed. Small inconsistencies, quiet but screaming. He didn't understand it as a suspicion. He understood it as a confession. It wasn't him, the father said. Daniel sat down. He could no longer carry the truth. He told everything, without excuses, without justification, just facts. His mother didn't scream. She looked at Ethan and said quietly, "Then we killed you." As they were leaving, Ethan suddenly spoke. The words came slowly, heavily, as if from a place where something was still alive. "I tried," he said. "I told them. You just didn't hear me." That was worse than any accusation. He died a month later. But that wasn't the end. The real end came later, when his parents returned home. Everything was the same. The furniture, the silence, And only then did they realize they had lived an entire life without knowing their own son. Not because they didn't want to, but because they trusted the system more than the person. Daniel went on living. Every morning, he woke up knowing he was alive instead of someone else. He understood there is no punishment worse than being spared. Ethan was buried quietly. No speeches, no heroism. He was neither a criminal nor a hero. He was a man who loved too much and became unnecessary. In a world where love is not evidence,